No, I totally understand. No, I understand. No, it's because you're using the downgrade module so that AngularJS and Angular, their change detection systems, they're running separate, and that's why you're running into that issue. You don't have that at NG upgrade because they run all the same. No, it's not a bug; it's a feature. Yeah, because it's going to give you more power to do what you need to. No, it's not a bug; it's a feature. It's a Look, Mom, I gotta go. The show has started. What do you mean? What show? The show I do. No, not Adventures. The other Angular show. All right, look, I'll just talk to you on Slack. All right, all right. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, I love to dad. No, I'm not gonna tell him. Okay, I'll tell him that. All right, bye. Sorry, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of AngularAir. I'm your host, Justin Schwarzenberg, and today we are going to be talking NG-CONF. Should be a good show. So let's get after it. Who we got panelists today? We've got Alyssa joining us. How's it going, Alyssa?
Hey guys, going great.
All right, we got Austin with us. Austin, what's up?
What's up, guys? Hello from Austin, Texas.
Austin and Austin. We got Mike with us. Mike, what's going on?
Not too much, just hanging out. Ready to talk about some NG-CONF.
That was my mom, and she told me to tell you that VS Code rocks. Whatever, I don't know.
So. Yeah, I figured she would have done a little bit better job teaching you that, but there's still time.
I just can't get her to use WebStorm. I don't know what the deal is, but Bonnie, what's going on? How's it going?
I'm super excited about NG-CONF coming up, you guys. I'm like super nerding here.
Awesome. Yeah. I think we all are too. And let's get to our guest today. We got Joe Eames with us. Joe, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Excited to be on the show.
Yeah, great to have you. And we've got Aaron Frost with us. Frosty, what's going on?
Same as Joe. I'm just pumped to be here to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I can tell. I think you guys need to bump that level up a little bit. You gotta be like, yeah, I'm excited to there we go. Yeah. That'll do. All right. Yeah. Okay, we're good. All right. Let's talk NG-CONF 2018. I think let's start out. Well, actually, why don't you two introduce yourselves in case anybody out there watching has no idea who you are, which is a possibility. So maybe Joe can do that first, and then we'll go to Aaron.
Okay, so my name's Joe Eames. I'm Aaron's assistant. I do a lot of Pluralsight author. I do a lot of education right now. I've been doing tons of Angular and JavaScript education for the last few years. So I would say that my main activities, though, are doing Pluralsight, doing NG-CONF, and now maintaining ngdoc.io, which was a previous episode here on the show.
Yeah, that was a good one. We talked about that, so people should check that out. Aaron.
So my name's Aaron Frost. Everyone calls me Frosty, so I typically go by that. I'm a twin, so I also answer to Joel or Tweedledum or a number of other names. I'm a principal engineer at a company called SaltStack. We're doing a lot of fun stuff. We're running Angular side by side with another framework, and it's going really well. So I'm the guy that Joe makes look good. Joe's the secret sauce behind NG-CONF that most people aren't aware of is there, but he's always lurking, which is creepy, but he is always lurking and making people look good. So
cool. You were just on our show a little while ago talking about dynamic component creation. So let's plug that really quick too, right?
Yep. Yeah, that was fun. I need to get in. I just started using it today at work, and I need to get in and make a couple changes to enhance that library. But if anyone needs to make components on the fly, AF spawn service is a good. It's on NPM. Go ahead and grab it.
There we go. All right. Let's get some details about NG-CONF. What is it? When is it? Where is it? All that good stuff.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Who wants to tell us?
So yesterday we did a hangout, and it got hijacked, and Gio got kicked out. So I did the whole thing by myself. So I'm actually going to let Joe do some today.
That was really, really quite fun. Hangouts is awesome, by the way. I love Hangouts even more than I did yesterday.
Thanks, Hangouts. Super limousine experiences.
So, should we all be worried? Our Hangouts can get hijacked, or no?
Not the way that you guys do it.
Yeah,
we,
you guys are
we did a public one where we let out the URL so people could join. And if you don't do that right, you have to create a shareable link. If you don't create a shareable link, you just publish the URL. Anybody who comes in basically has admin privileges and can
kick everyone
eject
out.
people. And once you are ejected, you can never go back into that specific hangout, that video.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no undo button for that operation. Yeah. So somebody jumps in, kicks everybody out. Of course, they can unmute themselves too. So they started playing music, and took me 30 minutes to figure out how to. I had to like log out of my account, log into a different Google account to get back. It was fun. Totally, completely unrelated story. So let's talk about NG-CONF, right? NG-CONF is going to be April 18th through the 20th, 2018, in Salt Lake City, Utah, the same place we've done it for. This will be year number 5 for NG-CONF.
Yep.
And
we'll have a special gift for anyone who's been to all 5 of them. It's kind of a short list. I know Jeff Welpley's probably on that list. Maybe Ward Bell, a couple other people, but it's kind of a short list. But we'll have a special gift for anyone who's been there 4 or 5 years.
it may or may not be a hug from Frosty.
It may or may not include one. Yeah.
It may or may not include a hug from
Or his
Frosty.
twin.
Has anyone on the show been there for 5 years straight?
Bonnie's
I
been
missed
there
the first
4.
year.
Yeah, Bonnie's been there 4. Roki's been 4.
4. Man, Meatloaf says 2 out of 3 is not bad. Nothing for 5.
Wait, so when you say you've been there
Who's
for,
Meatloaf?
I've been to 3. This year will be
That's a
4.
okay, so this year will be 4. Well, that's
Yeah.
if we take you.
I've been to 4, not counting this year.
Yeah. Oh, so you've been to all 4?
Has there been 4? I thought there was 5.
No, this will be number 5. We've had 4.
Yeah, you've been at all
I've
4.
been to 3 then.
Well, welcome to AngularAir, where counting to 5 is difficult.
Right.
Right. This
One.
reminds me of the Holy Grail. 1, 2,
Right.
5.
It's kind of like 1, 2, next topic.
3 shall be the number thou shalt count to. 4 shall not be the number. 5 is.
I remember my first NG-CONF because I was super excited. I was like so nerding out because I was really excited about Angular. I didn't know how much fun NG-CONF. I mean, I thought it was a technical conference and I'm going to go and learn a bunch of stuff. And I did learn a bunch of stuff, but it was so fun. Like I wasn't prepared for how much it was like. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Don't get me started.
I remember.
Did we meet that year, Bonnie? Because it was both our first conferences, but I don't know if we met that year or the next one.
I think we did, but I don't think we bonded really until
The second one.
I mean, I loved you pretty much right off as soon as I met you, but really I was blown away with Frosty because I like this guy is, and I don't want to embarrass Frosty, but he's like my favorite person in the whole, like, I just love Frosty. He's so much fun. And as soon as I got there, like I was kind of starstruck because I recognized him. I mean, you can't miss Frosty. I walk into the hotel and I was like,
Is that
I know you from Twitter. Huh?
Is that a fat joke?
No. I mean, yeah.
She said you can't miss me. I felt it's okay. I'm comfortable with those kind of jokes. So.
Well, it was more the red beard, but anyway, so I was so excited to meet him, and then it was just like it went from there, and it was so cool.
He's nerd famous.
So welcome. Huh?
You're nerd famous, Aaron. Nerd famous.
Nerd famous.
You are. I was I was like, oh my gosh, that's Frosty.
I remember when I met
Frosty. I'm like, ah!
When I met Bonnie, she was just kind of chilling by herself. And I always try and make sure that people chilling by themselves come and be part of the group. And I was going to dinner with the Angular team, and I was like, hey, come to this dinner with me. And she came, and while she's there, she realized who was at the dinner table with her. And she started freaking out even more. I mean, it was fun.
I never would have gone if I had known. Like, they're all like hardcore, like speaker. These are like Twitter celebrities, and I didn't know any. I would never have gone. I would have been way too like, imposter syndrome. But then by the time I realized who they were, like I'm sitting right next to Shai Resnick. I didn't know who Shai Resnick was, and then by the time I realized who he was, it was too late to be starstruck. Well, I'm still starstruck, really. But it was so. It actually changed everything, and that's I think to me the whole thing with NG-CONF is I went there because I wanted to learn. But what I didn't realize was all the people that I met, and it has completely changed the trajectory of my career. Like I can't even tell you. Like you have to go there in person. You can watch the videos online, and I think that's awesome. If you can't go, but if you can go, You have to. It's totally different. It's so much fun. Don't get me started, you guys.
It was nice to meet you too, Bonnie.
I met you. I'm a little, when I get to NG-CONF and it's like, I don't sleep the whole week and I'm just like, hey, and then I have to go home and sleep and then like process everything that's gone through my brain.
Yeah, and those are like big points about what it, it's NG-CONF is fun and great material, but it's also very, very inviting, right? And it's very much, you come to your first one, boom, the community helps draw you in and helps get you those connections and things like that. And then from there on out, you're just keep building those connections and those relationships. And it's pretty amazing, the way that it brings our Angular community together and gets that conversation going and that interaction going.
We love this part of it. In fact, that's definitely one of the reasons why we do NG-CONF, and we think that we'll never have a problem selling tickets because of all of the amazing awesomeness that it is to actually be there, right? We have hundreds of thousands of YouTube hits of people watching the videos that we publish, but the stories of people that have shown up to NG-CONF and from that had it change their career drastically. Bonnie, who knows Sean Larkin? Anybody know who Sean Larkin is?
Who doesn't know Sean Larkin?
One of the main contributor maintainer of Webpack. NG-CONF was what got him going. Mike?
I put myself on.
Well, hold on. I'm going to correct Joe real quick. Sean Larkin is what got Sean Larkin going. But NG-CONF was one of the first places he got a chance to be as awesome on a stage as we all know he is now. So yeah.
Right. Well said. Yeah, he attended NG-CONF, I don't know when it was, and decided he wanted to get into contributing to the community and ended up being the Webpack maintainer. Jules Kremer.
Mm-hmm.
Jules Kremer attended NG-CONF before she was part of the Angular team. And when the opportunity opened up to join the Angular team, it was because of her experience at NG-CONF that made her think that this is a place that she wanted to be.
That was pretty cool. We got a chance to talk to her about it, and I didn't know that she ended up on the team as a result of the relationships and like the excitement and the positive experience she had at NG-CONF. It was kind of, all these cool people. It's humbling to know that something, that we work on hard is helping them that much. It makes it easier to work on it.
Right. Every year we have this moment where we look out over the crowd or look down the hallway and you have this like surreal realization of, wow, it's happening. Like this is going on. And there's all these people here doing stuff because of, the time and effort we put into it. Mike, you were going to say something. You put yourself on that list.
I did. I consider myself in a very similar bucket to Sean Larkin. Actually, I befriended Sean when he, before NG-CONF, you guys create a Slack channel for the speakers beforehand, which is great. And that's where Sean and I started chatting, him talking about, hey, Angular CLI should use Webpack, and me saying, no, it doesn't really matter. You shouldn't have to worry about a build system. So he and I started ripping each other and became friendly because of that. So
that's awesome.
He's the nicest person.
Yeah, NG-CONF is really in this amazing spot right now, right? You produce all this great content, you provide it free to the community with the recording so we can watch on YouTube, so you don't have to be at the conference. But then the conference experience is amazing and has all these opportunities, right? It's like everybody's winning, I feel like, which is killer. So it's great.
It's actually kind of, if you go back to the beginning, how it even started, it's kind of weird that it is all of those things, because you've got like huge groups of people who intentionally plan conferences, right? And like that's their job. Like they show up to work in hopes of creating a giant successful conference. True?
Yep.
Well, then you get 4 guys who accidentally, they stumble upon the idea and kind of like as a result of their friendship kind of end up in this this thing where they're going to do a conference, and then we put tickets on sale, and all of a sudden we realized, oh, this is way bigger than us. Like this is way more than we thought it was going to be, because they disappeared in seconds. And so But that was when we realized, okay, we have to go big. Like, we have to go all the way big. This has to be the greatest event ever. So you've got a conference put on by people like you, not by people who don't code and don't care about communities. They're just there for paycheck, right? You got programmers putting on a programmer event. So I think that's part of what makes it so fun.
Yeah. We would absolutely not do NG-CONF if it wasn't for it's our opportunity to get back, to so many things that we have benefited from.
Yeah.
And
because you've got like the Larkins and you've got the Brokies and all these people that are committing open source, like, and giving back that way. In a way, this is one of our ways of giving back, because it is pretty time consuming.
And I don't think that you guys show on the videos you show each speaker and the presentations and all the educational stuff, but in between the speakers, you guys have to see when Frosty and Dave go on stage, like, they are the funniest. They're just hilarious, and they have this rapport that cracks me up, and they give away prizes like crazy. What is it, like 1 in 4 people get prizes, or is that too high?
More like in various years, it's been more like 1 in 7, I believe. That was our highest.
But their prizes are legit. Like, they're not. I mean,
never got
some
a
of them are
prize.
goofy, but
You never got a prize?
I've never got a prize.
You got to speak.
Yeah, that's true. I did get to speak, which was,
Speakers don't go on the list.
Yeah.
speakers don't get prizes.
So the year you spoke, you were not on the list, but statistically speaking, you wouldn't. But it's been weird. We've had a couple people who have won like 2 or 3 times. And so maybe math.random isn't very random.
Do you remember that prize we were talking about with Joe?
No, guys, what it is that he didn't make his goat sacrifice to the RNG gods, like, of randomness. So,
Right.
I mean, that's what you get, man, for skipping out on the goat.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go all in.
I still want to stand by a hashtag that Alyssa, Shy, and I created a couple of years ago. NG-CONF swag idea. If you have ideas, tweet those out, and I'll make sure that they get over into the eyes of Joe and Frosty.
So honestly, swag, those prizes we give out, those are hard, man.
Yeah.
It probably takes me 20 hours of just perusing the internet to make a list.
But you
Dude,
love it.
it's
You
like
know you
Christmas
love buying all those gadgets.
shopping, but for random nerds, right? Like, you have to, make sure they're good and they're gonna want them, but like, you don't know who they are. Like, it would be impossible.
Every year I tell myself, if there's any left over, if we run out of opportunities to give these away, I'm keeping the extras. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm buying the things I want, and I'm trying to buy the coolest things, like the things that if I had a secret money account that my wife wouldn't get mad about, like, that's what I will buy, is these things. So we try and make it fun. We try and buy cool stuff that we think is relevant, not just like, I don't know, gaming consoles or boring stuff. We try and get fun stuff.
Right.
So
Yeah, you can't.
You can tell how.
I got a question. So speaking of fun stuff, what's the theme? Can you tell us about the theme for this year's conference? Every year there's been a theme.
So
This is Aaron's idea. This year's theme is Aaron's.
I love this idea.
So I don't know why. I can't explain it. It's irrational, but I love the book Ready Player One like a lot. I've read it probably 5 or 6 times. And so it came down to picking a theme, and kind of this 80s theme seemed super fun. Like, we could make it cool and fun. And then on top of that, Ready Player One, the movie, comes out just a few weeks before the event. So we're like, what if we make it Ready Player One themed, and we try and make it super 80s, and we take everyone to Ready Player One. Like, we rent out the movie theater and everyone could buy a ticket. And so that's what we decided to do. And we've got a lot of fun ideas that we hope will keep the energy at the conference high. We hope we don't disappoint, because when you say you're going to do 80s, it's easy to disappoint, but we're putting a lot of effort into the 80s thing. But we're also trying to make sure it's not, too frat party-ish, and we're trying to make sure it's fun for everybody involved, and it's not
How is
frat party.
How is 80s frat party? I'm confused.
Well,
the theme doesn't
sometimes-
necessarily bleed into.
Oh, okay, I got you.
If we make
I
it
think
too much
so.
party,
We should
then it
bring
kind of
back-
feels weird.
Right.
So
Like-
go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, we always try to produce a conference that we would want to go to, right? And so we also, though, want to make the most inviting conference that we possibly can, right? So those are two things that aren't necessarily competing so much as you head down one path and you have to remember to keep the other goal a priority as well, right? If you get too much down, what would I like? Then it's just the conference that Joe would like, and it may not be as inviting for somebody who isn't way into Star Wars and isn't way into Chihuahuas, right? Those are my two passions in life: Star Wars and Chihuahuas.
I just can't wait to bring back the blue eyeshadow, you guys. I'm pretty
There it is.
Back to the future.
Wait. Oh, I can't wait. I'm thinking about perming my hair for it, and then
Yeah.
doing the side pony.
There you go.
Like,
I don't
expressions were tragic but fun.
think I have my locomotion T-shirt or my tube socks anymore. But can I bring my old D&D books or
Yes.
what?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I have an old. I think I have to find an old Def Leppard concert shirt from the
Yes.
80s.
yeah.
Samantha and I were talking about putting in tops.
NG-CONF last year, Justin. We played D&D. Alyssa bailed on us, but the rest of us, we were there.
I build.
Aaron bailed too.
I was
Alyssa and I
thinking.
were bell buddies.
I know. I was like, well, that was the year that I was like, yeah, I'll do 2 talks. And then Shai was like, hey, will you be on stage with me on one of my performances as well? And I was like,
3 talks.
yeah, I'll do that. And it was basically like 3 talks as much work as we put into it. So I was like, because even beforehand, I was helping him record like things for the song and stuff. So I by the time D&D hit, I was like, oh God, what have I done to my life? So I'm gonna try this next year, whatever conferences I go to like still be, professional, make sure I submit a good talk, put in the time, but also like have at least one night where I'm like, I'm going to hang out with people, like, cause the nerds are the best part of it. So
Cool. So
I
what's
took my daughter
the
to the first-
ticket status right now? There's tickets still on sale?
Tickets are on
yeah,
sale.
I owe you dinner.
Tickets are on sale right now. You can go pick up your ticket. They'll be sold out. In the past, we sold out in seconds, but that was when we were at a smaller venue. We doubled the size, so we have more room. So tickets will be on sale probably another month, I would say, based on the pace we're going. But don't wait too long.
If you were still at that smaller venue, would you have already been sold out?
Oh yeah, we would have.
Oh,
We wouldn't
yeah.
have even been able to sell the number of tickets we sold day one when the tickets went on sale.
Gotcha.
So what venue are at now? Are you still
Same
at?
venue.
Same venue we were at
So-
last 2 years.
What Joe means is the first 2 years of NG-CONF, we did like a mad dash, like release all the tickets and you have to refresh as fast as you can. And then at the same year we moved to the Grand America where we sold more tickets, we also changed the way we distribute tickets to you sign up for a random lottery ticket and then we pick people from that to buy tickets like slowly and we make sure everyone gets a chance and it's not a mad dash. Well, this year we switched back to doing the mad dash way because we had the feeling that it wasn't going to just disappear overnight. So and the slowly trickling them out just took us so much time. Like it was a lot of babysitting and a lot of questions and back and forth and so we're like, well, let's just treat everyone like equals adults and just to tell them to buy tickets at their leisure. So that's kind of what we've gone back to this year, and we were worried, but it's working out. So it was a good decision.
So is there going to be more people at this conference than last year?
No, it's same count as last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way the count we've got it's got some extra seats all around, and so not everyone has to be elbow to elbow. Some seats are, you've got enough space, but so that's kind of where it's at. And we're going to keep it there.
Are you guys still doing the one big track? I know that's something that's pretty unique for NG-CONF.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the speakers on that main stage, if I tried to put anyone else up against that speaker, it's going to be like no one's going to go. Like, if I try and put another talk at the same time as Matthias or Broco or Shai, it's just going to be an empty room. So we just make one track with the best speakers, and then on Fair Day is where you can get your hyperactive need to go in like 15 different rooms throughout the day and switch your schedule up. So Faraday fulfills that want, and it's going really well since we started it 2 years ago. This will be the third year. It's actually been really successful. So yeah.
I'm a big fan of the single track, especially with NG-CONF and these type of conferences that the performance and being there for the moment is pretty special, right? With the speaker lineup and the way that people deliver. So yes, you can catch tracks and things offline later, but being there and watching that performance is pretty awesome. So having a single track where you don't have to worry about as an attendee, oh, should I go this one or that one is awesome.
Yeah, I find it a relief, honestly, because it's not like, oh, where am I supposed to be and do I have a plan? It's like there's the main room, right? Like follow everybody. So
Yeah. So our format is Wednesday, which is day 1, is single track all day long. Friday, which is day 3, is single track all day long. And we do, all day workshops on Mondays and Tuesday beforehand as well. So we got some pretty epic workshops lined up. But Thursday is our fair day. So we split the ballroom into 3 pieces. So there's 3 tracks going on at the same time with more like longer talks, 1-hour talks, 2-hour talks. Occasionally we throw in some of the shorter regular length talks, but mostly it's these longer ones. And then we do a bunch of other stuff that's going on at the same time in a lot of the other rooms at the hotel. Some of them for fun, some of them education. We have a room where you can go in and you're going to find Mike Brocky sitting down, ready to answer any question you have about the CLI. He's actually there from 6 a.m. until midnight. He doesn't even leave his seat.
Yeah.
See, I told you don't have to accept any of my talks. You're guaranteed on there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have rooms like that, rooms with other features, rooms where you can talk to speakers, etc.
So there's another kind of talk that Faraday lets us allow is sometimes you want an hour talk, but more often than not, people want an hour follow along. Like they want to be coached through a workshop. So the Faraday allows us to do coached along workshops as well as 60-minute talks, right? So that's another type of talk that we get with Faraday that we didn't used to have. So it's just a different education, and people learn differently. Some people don't want to do a follow-along workshop for whatever their reason, and other people do. So it allows us to kind of fill all the gaps and get everyone something that they need. On top of what Joe talked about, because he talked about a lot of stuff, we've also got hackathons. If you come early and you're there on Tuesday night, Microsoft's doing a hackathon.
We actually aren't sure which night it is yet.
Okay. Well, show up early because
we do stuff on Tuesday night.
We're doing stuff on Tuesday night.
We got the movie.
We got Ready Player One movie. So show up early, like buy your ticket. It's only $10 and we're going to buy you a drink and popcorn. So it's totally worth and the movie ticket. So it's totally worth the $10.
This is a question I have. So this is like the only thing I really care about NG-CONF this year is this movie. So are we going to go see the movie beforehand and this is like a second showing for ourselves? Or is everybody going to go in fresh without seeing it and hold off on release date?
We're not going to kick people out if they've already seen it.
Yeah, I mean,
there is something special about getting the whole new experience with a bunch of people at once.
I think Brokey wants to make a pact.
Right.
I'm
down for the pact. I
can't be in that pact. I'm sorry.
I don't know if Frosty can do that.
If I did,
can you wait?
I could try.
If you can't wait, you can read the book because it's always better if you read the book first and then see the movie.
Definitely read the book first.
So read the book.
Frosty, you can be with me on this. Like I see movies the day they come out. I can't wait. So if it's on the day they come out, we're good. If not, I'm going to see it a second time.
Yeah, I'm a Thursday 7 p.m. girl for whenever the opening, because that's opening night now. So
yes,
I'm not.
Right.
I'm really, Frosty. Even though you're such a huge fan, I would have.
On this movie, though, this movie might be the exception. But if Brokey's wanting me to make a pact, I could probably do it.
We'll talk off air, man.
All right.
So I want to throw out one thing if I can, because I had kind of a challenge the first year that I went to NG-CONF, and I want to share this because I think that I actually tweeted about this the other day that I might not be the only one that had this challenge. I was super stoked when I found out that there was an Angular conference in Salt Lake City, which was not that far. It was a couple states away, but my boss said no. My boss wouldn't pay for it, and I was like, what? Because I was big into Angular at the time, and I was teaching other people Angular at the time. And so I just want to throw this out there. If anybody else has this same problem that they really want to go to Angular and their boss said no, go anyway, because I did, and I struggled with this. I found it to be absolutely worth every penny that I spent. I spent all the money. I had to buy my own, actually the plane ticket and the hotel and everything ended up being more than the conference ticket. It was not cheap. But I will say, if you do, bring resumes, because if you have enough passion that you would pay for your own ticket and your own flight to NG-CONF, there are people there who want to hire you. And so I just wanted to throw that out there, because I did, and it kind of, I struggled with it a little bit because it was a lot of money for me, because I was still driving an 11-year-old Chevy at the time. But honestly, the connections that I made, the networking that I gained from being there, and then Frosty like twisted my arm and convinced me to start this meetup, which I was really uncomfortable with, but it ended up being fabulous. It's been really good for my career, and the gains in my salary since then have more than made up for the money that I spent. So really, you're investing in yourself and your own career, and if your boss won't do that, do it yourself. I just want to throw that out there.
For the record, no arms were twisted in the story.
He encouraged and empowered me to get out of my comfort zone, and I did it, and it was awesome.
So talking about Salt Lake, it's been at Salt Lake for a while now. Is there any plans in the future to change the location?
Nope.
Tell us why you think we should.
You shouldn't.
I love Salt Lake. It would be cool to go to different locations. I feel like, you know, as someone going there for like the past 3 years, I think. Is that the number we counted to? It would be cool to go to a different location, because that's like my one like conference that I go to, right? Like it's my number one.
The topic has come up before. I'm always opposed to it. One of my goals with NG-CONF is just to highlight Utah as a center of front-end development. If you get bored, jump onto Google Trends and check out, just for the US, the state metrics for searches for React, Angular, Vue, whatever. Now, note that California has 10 times jQuery,
MooTools, Backbone, every major JavaScript library that's ever happened.
Utah will be either number 1 or number 2 on that rank, even though we have 1/10 the developers that some states have, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of cool people come out of Utah. I like to show it off. So I'm always opposed to it.
And Angular, when it was AngularJS just starting, back when we called AngularJS Angular, all of the initial training stuff came out of Utah. Like John Lindquist was coming out of Utah. Egghead came out of Utah. Joe Eames came out of Utah. The first Adventures in Angular podcast came out of Utah. Like so many things and content was coming out of Utah, and the excitement was just insane. So it made sense to keep it here till then, and it's still pretty exciting here around Angular. So there's a lot of reasons why we should keep it here, but I suppose if there was a reason to leave, we would, but we don't want to yet.
You know what's funny? The first time I ever went to NG-CONF, that I was super shocked. I didn't even think about it. It just wasn't even on my, because I'm from Houston, right? And I go to NG-CONF and I'm thinking I'm going there for a technical conference. It's going to be a bunch of computer nerds. And I wasn't even thinking. So I get off the plane and I'm driving to the hotel, and I totally freaked out because I look out the window and there's these massive mountains, and we don't have mountains in Houston. It's completely flat, right? So I was super fascinated, and I made the cab driver pull over so that I could take a picture. And he was like, "Lady, what is your like?" He thought I was a weirdo because I was so tickled. But they have these gorgeous mountains that are like right next to you. And I didn't know about that until I got there. And so I got really distracted by the mountains, and I was really fascinated. So if you like scenery, it's a beautiful, beautiful place.
We also get more bang for the buck in Utah. It's a little bit cheaper food and other fees we have to pay. So we can provide a little bit, or keep the costs a little bit down. You know, might shave $100 off the ticket price. We need to talk about our survey though before we get too far.
Yeah. So I'd like to talk about what the value is for attendees in terms of the learning value. Like you mentioned a couple of things. We talked about there's talks, right? There's workshops. There's the networking. There's these Q&A sessions. Let's go through some of those and kind of lay out the value that attendees would get through those. And maybe we could start with the survey that you ran and kind of the results of that and kind of the pulse of the Angular community right now and what people are wanting to know.
Yeah. So every year it's really stressful to pick talks. It is. It's it's a lot of responsibility, right, to decide what the Angular conference will hear, or the Angular community is going to hear and learn about, right?
Mhm.
So every year we've been getting, I think, a little bit better at trying to get other people involved. Last year we flew some people out to help us pick talks, so it wasn't just us, and we could heavily consider their opinions. This year we decided, due to some conversations we had, we needed to get the Angular community way, way, way more involved. So we created a survey, and the goal of it was to make sure our conference is exactly what the Angular developers in the community want. And I feel confident that we got that result out of this survey. The Angular community was fantastic. Their responses were, some of them were sublime, like they made us chuckle. So yeah, I think we're more prepared now than we've ever been to put on the event that the community wants to hear and see. So it's exciting.
Absolutely. I think we'll do a lot better job, and you'll definitely see a lot more advanced content. We're already talking to as many people as we can, saying we want the more intermediate at our CFP Alphas hours, which we had yesterday. We talked a lot about what we're looking for with that stuff. And so if you're interested in speaking at all at NG-CONF, please don't get feel like you aren't qualified to speak. We have a fair number of new or less experienced speakers that go on at NG-CONF. Every year we have quite a few brand new speakers, either new to us or new to speaking in general, that have been on there. The right idea and the opportunity and the desire to present is far more important than are you a well-known Angular figure. So please come and submit. We're always looking for an increase in the diversity of our speakers, both from a total standpoint and from the classic definition of that as well. So we're always looking for new angles that people are attacking things from.
I think Joe Frosty said something last night about you guys actually have like speaker trainers available that you make available to your. That's cool.
Yeah.
So,
Once you've been selected, we don't abandon you. We try and make you better, and not that you're not good enough already, but we give you the option of having a professional speaker coach listen to you and give you some feedback so that you can go out there and put your best foot forward and do your best presentation possible. And
right.
A lot of people take it, not everyone, and a couple people like it so much that they book a couple extra hours with the coach. So we just make sure that everyone is our partner in making sure that the content is top notch. So
we also will help you with your proposal. If you've never written a proposal before and you don't feel like you know how to, but you have something valid to say, we're there to help you write the proposal as well. So we can help you make sure that you're on an even footing when it comes to your proposal as everybody else. And then if you're accepted, with the speaker trainer, we can put you on an even footing with people that are there. And a lot of why we do this is because we know there's a lot of people that come from more disadvantaged backgrounds, right? And so we want to even that up for everybody. So that's a lot of why we do that. But we want as many talk submissions. We have this 9 to 12 hour just absolute slugfest to pick talks, and I would be so happy if we had so many submissions that took us 15 hours. Right? It would be horrid, but it would be way better.
The worst part of that 12 hours is about the 7th hour, because by the time that we get to the 7th hour, we've got a list of really, really, really good talks, each talk meriting to be on a stage and be heard. And we have to take that and whittle it down into something that we can put on stage that we have enough time to show. And that's the hardest part, because you're saying no to talks that if you had 7 days, you'd say yes to all of them, but you've only got 3. So that's where it gets really tired, because you're crushing dreams, not because they're not good. They're actually great, and it sucks. Honestly, that's the hardest part by far.
Right.
Who here submitted talks already?
I haven't, but I'm going to. Samantha and I are going to talk about the hairband. We're going to dress up as hairbands, and we're going to talk about the hairbands. I think I'm going to submit a talk. We're going to try to figure out how to get the WWF into the material, maybe the Angular Material Girl. We'll dress up as Madonna, early 80s. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, shut up. That's a funny talk title. That is so funny.
Yeah.
Got it.
I hadn't
the
even
list.
thought about that. That is so awesome.
I have a
I
whole
have to go-
list of
I-
like 80s themed talks.
I have
I'm
to
kidding
go.
the CLI. But
Hey,
sorry.
I have to go. I just want to say thank you guys for putting on NG-CONF. It's a great experience, great learning experience, great social experience, and thank you for everything you do putting on the conference.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Brokey.
Mike.
All right, Mike. Catch you next episode.
I want to circle back just really quick also about the learning value for attendees. And there's a little bit of value we also provide that isn't directly related to learning, which is we do have a lot of fun at NG-CONF. On Fair Day, there's a lot of fun things that we do that you can take a quick break while you're doing something. And then at night, it's like first night, huge party, unparalleled compared to your typical conference that you go to. We always have that, or, we're going to have some 80s themes arcades. So there's also a lot of fun going on, movies. On Saturday, we got some various stuff. We're actually going to be, this is like the first announcement of this. We're going to open up, we're going to be taking a small group of people down to southern Utah, central Utah, which is where, like Slick Rock, Moab area, mountain biking type stuff, more on somewhat of an adventure to hike in Arches National Park. It'll be a fairly small group of people. It'll be a little expensive because of the costs. But yeah, we're doing some hiking. We're thinking of maybe doing like a midnight hike in Arches National Park.
Hiking!
Hummer rides. So we'll be doing stuff like that. We always love to have fun along with doing education. So
Yeah, those sound awesome.
You can't forget the NG snacks. You guys, bacon wrapped bacon, and really the one that I thought was kind of off. Like I thought you guys went too far, and I saw Katya carrying around the deep fried Twinkies, and I was like, what? Like it didn't really look that good. But then I ate it, and it was like all warm and gooey inside, and it was so good. And I went back and I know I'm gonna get a bellyache, and I just don't care because deep fried Twinkies, like it's horrible.
apple
But it's
stuffed
so
churros. That was one of my favorites.
goodness.
Yeah.
Don't be on a diet when you go to NG-CONF. Just don't.
That'd be a bad idea.
Like,
Also,
as much fun as Frosty has with the prizes, whoever's in charge of food, y'all are.
And besides like the actual planned fun events, I feel like every time I turned a corner at NG-CONF, even if it was like middle of the first day, there was something cool going on. And whether or not it was planned by you guys or was just a group of people like hacking on something or talking about something, like literally it's like, I know that Panda mentioned it earlier, but like it's my #1 conference. It's hands down what you've done with the community by pulling together. And also, I mean, so I don't know if you ever want to like give a shout out to the people who organized that conference. And I think like, didn't they create a company with that or something? But like every year, me and my husband go, this is just so incredibly organized. Like it's just put together and it's like almost like watching this amazing theater play go on with how well it's like choreographed and timed. It's literally humbling and beautiful because I've been to other conferences that just, they can't get it even halfway to what you guys have mastered. So yeah, can you give a shout out to like the organizing peeps on that side?
Yeah, Sunny's fantastic in her whole team, right? She, I mean, again, part of this accidental experiment that is NG-CONF is Joe had a friend and he's like, hey, this person wants to help. And all of us were like, we don't need any help. But Joe just kept insisting, so we caved, and it was a good thing that we did because Sunny's blossomed into a fantastic hostess, and just taking care of all the needs that people have, and booking the speakers, and taking care of the sponsors, and so yeah, she's possibly grown more than anyone else. She's grown into just this fantastic event organizer. So.
Yeah, she runs like 10 different conferences now, handling all the logistics side for them. She employs like 8 people now, just created this really successful company. So if you, here's a plug for her. If you're thinking of running a conference and you need somebody to actually handle I need to get it done. I have the idea, but I need to actually get it done. Then she can, reach out to us through NG-CONF. We can put you in touch with her. Her company, Zero Slope, is
Yeah.
You know, they make it happen. It's if you read the what's the book of the Game of Thrones? If you read Game of Thrones, she's like the king's hand, right? Like we come up with the ideas and then she actually does everything.
I don't know. I don't know what that means.
She's amazing.
Yeah, so and makes it all welcoming for everybody, right? Welcoming for, like you mentioned, for the speakers, for the attendees, everybody. Just it's totally awesome.
Yep.
Yes. Hey, I want to touch real quick on one more thing with the learning value and stuff like that. And I want to talk about those Q&A sessions and like the help rooms and things like that. Those I love those things. I love being in them as a speaker. I love going in there helping out. But it seems like not too many people find out about those, or there's not a whole lot of traffic going into those. Is there a plan to kind of ramp that up or make that get more? Because I think there's so much value in that, right? Not only from the fact that you could, as an attendee, can interact with the speakers and go and have this chat because it's very open, but also there's the opportunity to go into these rooms and get some help and support and ask your questions and get things hammered out. And it's a great experience and great value for attendees.
We're always trying to up our game with how well we communicate stuff, but you also have to realize that it's like lined up against 8 other things they could be doing, 3 different tracks that are going on. People might want to, you got to pick a time when there's no tracks going on.
Yeah. Do I go to the office hours with Brokey, or do I go to Sean Larkin's workshop? Like it's tough, like, so we try and put it on the schedule. We give it as much space as anything else, but the people are deciding to do this. We want what you want. We want more people to go to it, but they're just not.
I'm kind of curious, is there is it just that what it's matched up against? I mean, because these things run kind of all day, right? Or is it more of people are kind of intimidated or don't feel enough that like, oh, I'm just going to go up there, sort of thing? Is that it? Maybe there's something that we can do as a community or something to help, if that's the case? Or...
I was super intimidated the first time I went. I was really shocked because I was like, I don't think that anybody is going to be interested in anything that I have to say because I'm just a regular old developer, right? But I actually had questions about my actual job. Like I'm trying to implement Angular in my job and I'm trying to do something and I'm really struggling with this. There's not a whole lot of documentation out there I want to ask. And there's been a couple of times when I've gone, like one time I asked Minko, I was trying to do an iOS WebRTC thing and they just it wasn't really compatible. And I was shocked because not only did he answer my question, but he was like he totally nerded out and spent like 20 minutes talking to me about it. I was flabbergasted. Like it was for me a lot of imposter syndrome, but I was really humbled by these guys they like talking about this stuff. So if you have questions, you should go ask them.
Let me interject here. I don't know how to fix the problem that Justin's pointing out. And we've talked about it. But if it is intimidation, let me share this story. On year 3, when we decided we were going to go to the Grand America and double the size of people that could attend, Igor was the most hesitant of all of us. And it was because Igor wants to get to a chance for every attendee to meet and shake the hand of someone on the Angular team. And he was nervous that if we went too big, not everyone was going to get that chance to talk to an Angular team member, to get their questions asked, to say thanks, or whatever your need to talk to them is. So they're definitely don't be intimidated. They definitely want to talk to you. I mean, at least from what they've told me, they definitely want to talk to everybody. They want everyone to get a chance to say hi to at least one of them, if not more than that. So don't be intimidated, please, because there's no reason to. Like it's kind of a weird syndrome we all have, but just don't, because they're really, really cool.
Right. Agreed. Totally.
Well said. Hopefully that'll encourage a bunch of people. And all the gazillion people that watch our show, right? Yeah, go talk to people there. Interact. We want to talk to you. We want to help.
Right.
Cool. All right. Anybody else have anything else they want to ask these two before we wrap this show up? Any other NG-CONF points? Yeah. There was a question in here about our emojis supported for talk titles and bios, and I'm assuming maybe Brocky was wondering about that. He already took off, but yeah, can you submit an emoji as your?
Yeah, I mean, if it works, right?
Yeah, I have no idea if the tool supports it, but we're fine if there's an emoji in there. We could figure out we'll figure out how to make that work from the technical standpoint.
I guess if you
Actually,
just run that risk of like you have this beautiful emoji title, right? And then on your side, all you get is the rectangles with the X's between them, right?
Yeah.
That would suck.
Yep.
I have a question, a serious question, actually. Believe it or not, what if we are like playing like I mean the '80s if you're gonna have the '80s theme, the music is kind of iconic, right? So if we're playing '80s music like during a presentation, then you would get pinged with copyright infringement on your YouTube. Is that a no-no?
Yeah.
It is not a no-no to be pinged, but we just will have to edit that part out.
Right.
I think you can play like 15 seconds or something like that, something like really short, and it's okay.
There's various things you can do, and we actually have some YouTube experts that we work with. So if that is a critical piece of your talk, then we can work to figure out what we can do about it. In some cases, it's okay. In some cases, it would, we don't want to bring the live stream down because you're playing music that's copyrighted. Yeah. So we have to work through that in advance for sure.
I was gonna say I could sing it, but that's probably not.
Right. Right.
You could just get up there with a guitar and play it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, we're running out of time, top of the hour, so let's wrap this thing up, put a bow on it, get to some picks. We'll go through and do our picks for our panelists first, and then we'll see if our guests have any picks, and then we'll call it a day. So, Bonnie, you want to go first, and you can maybe snag Mike's picks as well.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that he left because he took my pick, and I was pretty excited about this. There's a Visual Studio live share. I'm super excited about that. I haven't actually had a chance to try it out yet, but I think that's going to be awesome, and I'm going to use it for sure. And then, so after Mike stole my pick, I had to come up with another one, which is Angular Elements, and I'm super excited about that too. So if you haven't heard of Angular Elements, you should definitely go check it out. Those are my two picks.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna have Austin go next because he's got something similar.
Bonnie, that Angular Elements was mine, not Mike's.
No, it was mine. But I put mine up there before you did. So.
I believe it when I hear it. So Visual Studio Live Share, super cool. Came out yesterday. Oddly enough, at the same time, GitHub's Atom announced Teletype, which is like Live Share, but you can actually install it and use it now. I think Live Share is still private beta. Also today, security alerts by GitHub came out. So this allows you to it's going to start analyzing your package JSON automatically for you and tell you about security alerts. I know this has been a big deal in the community lately about security risk of open source projects. So that is super cool. And then I have an article, what is Zone.js and why is it needed? So it explains what zones are, why it's needed for English change detection and things like that. And funny enough, you can actually turn zones off in Angular 5.
Cool.
Yep.
Good. Alyssa.
So just one pick, and it's a nerdy one. I have an addiction with audiobooks, so I use the Audible app on my phone. And lately, I think last month, October, I listened to over 80 hours of audiobook. So I'm not kidding when I say I have a problem. But it's been a series by Robin Hobb. So my pick is any novel by Robin Hobb because I'm on her 8th. Just discovered her 3 months ago. So Robin Hobb. Fantasy, by the way, if you're interested in that kind of thing. So yeah.
Nice. Awesome. All right. My pick is the site called reactive.how. Reactive.how, H-O-W. And it's these animations, individual posts of animations that show kind of like a marble diagram of observables and different operators and what they do. But the marble diagram animation is super elegant, and it really does a great job at hammering home the concept of what's going on with these different streams. It's really cool. So that's my pick. All right, Joe, what do you got?
All right, so I'm a big fan of listening to nonfiction books on Audible. And one of my favorite books that I've recently picked up but have been reading is called Win Bigly by Scott Adams, the guy who does the Dilbert cartoon. And he's an extremely left-leaning person, personally. He's very left-leaning type guy, very Democrat, even like an extreme Democrat. This whole book is about the power of persuasion, and he frames it by analyzing the candidacy and run through candidacy of Donald Trump. So it's potentially a fairly political thing, and he radically changed it's just a crazy book and radically changed my view of Donald Trump. And I won't say how, you have to read the book. But I have found it just to be an engrossing, fantastic book. It opened my eyes to a lot of different things. So there it is, Win Bigly by Scott Adams. I also want to pick ngdoc.io. Alyssa and I work hard on that to make it an awesome resource to find all of the blog articles that aren't part of the official documentation for Angular. So when you're looking for stuff, this is the place to go to find out how to do stuff. All the documentation the community puts up, whether it's videos, blogs, whatever. And finally, I went and saw the movie Murder on the Orient Express last weekend. It was an awesome movie. Very slow pace. It's a drama. It's not an action. So if you're expecting
It was
like
slow?
an action,
I totally didn't notice it was slow. Was it?
really? Well,
Yeah.
I always just want people to be prepared. Like, it wasn't an action film, right?
Okay,
It was the character development, dialogue, and a little bit of mystery. A classic Agatha Christie story, which I know and love, so I knew what was going on. But I just absolutely loved it. Thought it was a visual masterpiece. The cast is just excellent, bar none. Hasn't gotten a ton of great reviews from critics, and I've heard a few people that were very disappointed in it, but I thought it was amazing. So I highly recommend it. Murder on the Orient Express. There you go.
Nice. All right, Aaron, wrap us up.
Yep. So I've never ever had an Android as nice as the Pixel 2. So I'm gonna pick the Pixel 2. I've never had an Android that can go 2 days without being needed to be charged. Like where I can go 2 days, that's insane. It restarts in like, not that really matters, but it does. It restarts in like 20 seconds, which is outrageous. It's
How's
just
the
an
camera?
extremely, the camera's fantastic. I mean, it's spec-wise, it's the nicest camera any cell phone's got. So I'm not a big camera guy, but the pictures are great. Like they look absolutely great. Yeah, so I'm
Have
gonna
you had
pick.
burn-in on that? Because I'm thinking about buying one, so I'm very interested. But I've heard rumors about like screen burn-in.
I don't have anything. I think that was more on the XL. I don't have the XL. I have the smaller one, which has been nice to go from a big phone back to a little bit smaller phone, to be totally honest. So yeah, it's great. I wanted to pick a book, but the book I just finished wasn't very good, so I'm not gonna pick it because I wanted to be like Alyssa, but it wasn't a good book. And then Thor, Ragnarok, I friggin' loved it. I'm not gonna lie, it was the best Marvel movie that they've ever made, and it was funny. I don't know, everything about it. I mean, I kind of want to be on the voting committee for sexiest man of the year because there's no way that I'm not voting for this actor. Like, the dude is insane. So yeah, I loved everything about it. If you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok, go check out Thor Ragnarok. It was fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, it was pretty good, but I don't know if we could like throw Wonder Woman off the top just yet. But
no, I watched that and I love that too. It didn't have the comedy aspect that this had though, but I loved Wonder Woman too though. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's a wrap. That's our show. NG-CONF, go get your tickets. Get there. Join us. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. Thanks, Joe and Erin, for coming on once again.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll really enjoy it. And we're looking forward to another great conference that you and your team put on.
Cool.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Phil.
See ya.
See everyone next
Thanks.
week.
See ya.